Welcome back to my channel, guys. It's time for another manga chapter review. Welcome once again, guys. I am reviewing another manga by Yen Press. It's going to be on the Demon Sword Master of Excalibur Academy. Um, If you haven't heard from Yen Press, great company. They're providing so many things for the US here when it comes to manga, light novels, and now even webtoons turn into a type of manga style. This is a manga itself. It is volume one. Did get that copy so I can review for you guys a little while ago. So it's already out. You can buy it. There is a link in the description below where you guys can buy cheap manga and light novels. So check it out and get yourself this copy. Before anything, guys, if you haven't done so, subscribe to my channel, give some love to it. Giving love to this video just helps me, but also Yen Press and Yenon. So make sure you're liking, commenting, and sharing as well. So okay, let's talk about the first volume. Um, Surprisingly, and they do this a lot because obviously what sells is the girl. But the main character is this guy. He is a Dark Lord and he goes by Leo. But this Dark Lord essentially comes to a point of his life where he knows his armies, I think, it's going to be defeated, and he essentially goes into a deep sleep for thousands of years. And what ends up happening is he is accidentally awakened by this girl, um, and this girl in particular is Briselia, and she essentially lives in this futuristic, obviously, era where humans have only been living, at least from what she remembers, for like 80 plus years in civilizations. They were highly attacked by what now they call voids, and all these voids are similar to what he remembers as his minions. So he, being born as a human and then later on becoming the demon lord, he is reborn as a human, and this is a big advantage to him that he eventually figures it out. But at first, he's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm a human," and yeah, it sucks. But being a demon lord, but it actually helped him because the humans helped him out. They end up going to this civilization, and in it, essentially, almost feels like you're just in a typical magical world genre. They kind of get away from the whole like desert stuff like that. In the whole encounter, this girl who saved him put her life in risk, and she actually died. So he resurrected her with his demon powers and made her basically a permanent minion forever. And the powers that he has essentially are to keep her uh, alive as a vampire. So he explains the whole process of how it goes, and she explains to him, like, okay, well, now that I know who you are, this is where you're living, and this is how things run. And essentially, in this world, they fight these voids, which again happen to be people or monsters that he had once controlled. And two, they use these holy swords to attack. Now, hers hasn't awakened yet, and eventually it does at the end of the volume. But when they're testing Leo, some douchebag, which we had met earlier in the volume, shows up and he picks a fight, and there's this whole big fight at the end, and eventually our main girl gets her holy sword, and she's able to defeat the dude. The volume really ends with just some random character going into the deep, I think, water in a cave and seeing a bunch of voids gathering together, chanting Dark Lord," and that's it. That's the end of the volume. That in a nutshell is the first volume. Um, let's talk about a few things. One, OP character. It works sometimes, and sometimes it's just overwhelming. This time, It makes sense, but he mentions it a bit, like, oh, I don't have my full power because I just reincarnated and stuff like that. But he's still pretty OP. Like, he's still pretty much more powerful than any of these humans that they have. Unless they come out with someone who's stronger than him, it just seems like he's just gonna go and basically create his army again, and he's just super strong. He can't be defeated. So little on the side on that. Secondly, we gotta consider the character of the girl. Um, she is coming. Riselia is coming from a civilization of where they've only been a civilization for decades, not centuries, decades. Um, so that means her grandparents and parents, or maybe parents, lived through maybe some of the most difficult parts of becoming a civilization. It also means that she should be a little bit more weary of who she's interacting with. And I understand they have foreigners who do show up in the civilization and stuff like that, but it kind of seemed off for her to just be okay with almost everything that happened in this whole volume. So, okay with finding a random kid, and then okay with her knocking herself out and then waking up to the beast and the void's not there anymore. Okay with just taking this random kid into a civilization and just taking him through and having a bath with him and okay with him telling her that he's a demon lord. I mean, there's a lot of things that just kind of it just seemed odd. It didn't seem like someone who is part of a new civilization would be okay with. So character wise, that those were my opinions. Overall, it's a good, fun story. If you're into reading magical stuff, action stuff, this is probably for you. It's not bad. It's very typical like other stuff though, so I wouldn't say it would pop out amongst the others. So for now, this is probably a 6 out of 10. Go check it out on Yempress. Give some love to Yempress by buying some of their stuff. Again, you can use my link in the description below. I did start this one, which is another one from Yempress, and this one is very, very, very promising. So we'll see what happens on this one furthermore. But for now, that is all I have for you. Thank you so much for the support. If you're watching up to this point, subscribe. And like always, don't be strangers. See you guys.